Thousands of displaced Lebanese residents heading back to the south as the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire begins and hopes rise of a permanent end to Israeli attacks on the country. It's a rare win for diplomacy in a region hit by two devastating wars in just over a year. Celebrations in southern Beirut following the agreement being reached, cars and people flooding the streets. There had been largely emptied out due to near-daily strikes in recent weeks. The country's Speaker of Parliament has called on displaced residents to return home. Under the deal brokered by the US and France, the truce will span 60 days. During this period, Israel will withdraw its forces and the Lebanese army will deploy and take control of its territory once again. Hezbollah infrastructure that was destroyed, including tunnels near the border, will not be rebuilt. In addition, only official military and security forces in Lebanon are authorized to carry arms. But while there is joy in Lebanon, there's a feeling of abandonment in Gaza as the war there rages on without any ceasefire deal in sight. Months of attempts to negotiate a ceasefire have yielded little progress, with talks now on hold after both Israel and Hamas failed to show compromise.
والله أنا في شعور داخلي انبسطت لهم، بس بنفس الوقت يعني شعرت بالإحباط لأنه هم يعني زي ما تركونا وحيدين. يعني إحنا طيب أنتوا خلصتوا، طب إحنا لمتى؟ لمتى إحنا وين بدنا نضل؟ يعني بدنا نضل هيك تحت القصف وتحت المعاناة وتحت الجوع. بدنا ننهي يعني زي ما انتم قررتوا مصيركم كمان احنا بدنا نقرر مصيرنا.
والله شعوري كان حزين لاني انا كان نفسي يصير عندنا نفسهم زي ما صار عندهم وقف اطلاق نار في لبنان يصير عندنا. كان نفسي يصير عندنا هان كمان وقف اطلاق نار.
And Sarah Coates joins us live from Tel Aviv. Sarah, on this 60-day ceasefire, it's a phased withdrawal over these 60 days. What happens after these 60 days?
Hello there, Wei Su. After 60 days, if indeed it does last that long, there will be discussions on that disputed land border between Israel and Lebanon. There'll also be this five-party international body that will really be making sure that the UN Resolution 1701 is adhered to. And what that means is that these Hezbollah fighters will not or should not be able to push any further south beyond the Litani River. They must stay north of that river, and it will be really a zone where these Hezbollah fighters cannot regroup, cannot build any more tunnels and cannot store any more weaponry. It will mean that these Israelis that have been displaced over the course of the war, that they will be able to go home. We have been seeing celebrations in Lebanon since all of this was announced, and really over the past few hours, there has been a steady stream of cars heading from the capital down toward these southern areas that were occupied by Israeli forces as Lebanese residents tried to go home. Now, at this hour, it does appear as though this ceasefire is holding. There have been a few minor incidents where IDF forces have actually been shooting toward people who've been coming close to that border region. So certainly it is an extremely fragile time here on the ground. But as you said, we've been hearing from Lebanese officials over the course of the last few hours, and they've really been speaking about the need to rebuild the country after all of this.
All right, so we are seeing celebration for this fragile truce, but for Israel and Hamas, no deal on a ceasefire yet, although in the last 15 minutes, was National Security Advisor, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan saying the U.S. will start a renewed push for a Gaza ceasefire on Wednesday, a day after reaching this deal with Hezbollah. Why does it seem harder for Israel and Hamas to reach a deal?
Well, it is a completely different situation. Of course, Lebanon is a sovereign state. Gaza is not. Also, there are still 101 Israeli hostages being held in the Strip. They were taken captive on the 7th of October. back in 2023. So certainly a very different situation there. We've also, of course, been hearing things from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, over the course of the last 14 months. He's really been emphasising the need for Israel to retain some sort of security control over the Gaza Strip in order to prevent what he says is another October 7 happening. So very different situation here. But of course, the focus is now turning to Gaza. And we did hear from a senior Hamas official after the ceasefire in Lebanon was announced just a few hours ago. That official came out to say that we have informed mediators that Hamas is ready for a ceasefire and a serious deal to exchange prisoners. So certainly there is this push from the United States and other parties, including Lebanon, Turkey and also Qatar, to really try and restart these negotiations, get a ceasefire in Gaza and also see the return of these hostages. Wei Su.
Well, thanks. Sarah Courts reporting live there from Tel Aviv.